We are on our spiritual journey. We are welcome here in unity. We're grateful to be here together with one another. And so let's join together in song today. We have a special song. Daniel Nemad, All That I Am.
My body, my soul are part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred plan. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that it's true.
I love all the energy he had in the song and then how he brought it back to the sacred. I really appreciate that. So today we're holding in prayer with us First Unity Spiritual Campus in St. Petersburg, Florida. We just envision them surrounded in love, joined together, hearts and minds with us today. We also want to hold in prayer this week the family of Roy Thompson, one of our beloved Unity members of the past. He's recently transitioned, and so we just hold his family in prayer. And we also have one of our own, Jim Bruner's family had the loss of his brother-in-law, Dave, this past week. And so let's hold them in prayer too. And we'll just take a moment of silence to bring into our thoughts and minds and hold a sacred space for all those needing prayer this week. And knowing that our prayers have been heard. We call upon God's love in this important moment, knowing that divine love is the greatest power in the universe. We pray for the wounded heart of humanity as we grieve, as we rage, as we cry and despair over injustice and inequity. May divine love enfold and comfort everyone who is hurting. May divine wisdom guide each person and institution in taking inspired action to ensure all are celebrated for their inherent goodness as part of God's creation. May we remain resolute in walking the course of human rights and social justice for all. We pray in the spirit of unity, love, and oneness. Amen. And today's opening prayer came from Unity Worldwide Ministries. I put that out several weeks ago, and I've heard positive feedback, and so I think we'll continue to use it for a period of time. We have some announcements today. A little different, we have more than 3. We have a new YouTube channel, and so Chris Fairshon sent that information out in last week's email. If you haven't seen it, she'll send it out again this week. All these services are recorded, and you can find us on this YouTube channel. And you can also find us on Facebook. We've been posting it all over the place. And so if you're looking for the Sunday service, need a recap, those are the places where you can find it. Habitat Walk to fund a build in 2021 is taking place on September 13th, 2020. We do have a group of people that are interested in doing this walk and partaking in it. So if you have any more questions, please see Sandy Shepard. And otherwise, we will have a follow-up email going out, a link that can put you in contact with more information. And that'll go out on Monday. On Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Ruth is hosting our Silent Unity prayer service in Zoom. At 5:30 on Tuesday, Chris Fairshon is leading us in the guided meditation. And on Wednesday, Karen is leading us in the gathering meditation. And so we are an active ministry. And so grateful for all these things that are happening right here, right now. We have an affirmation here in Unity together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. Our vision statement: a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission statement: we recognize God is love, individualized in all people. Therefore, we provide a positive environment for spiritual growth that empowers all to be God's love in the world. And today's daily word for June 7th, 2020 is joy. And Linda Schneider will share that with us.
Well, actually, today is June 14th.
Oh.
And the daily word is divine order.
Perfect.
Our affirmation is divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. As spring ripens into summer each year, new leaves transform bare trees into canopies of green. Tiny seedlings grow into sturdy plants and decorate the landscape with an array of colorful blossoms. I marvel at the divine order demonstrated as the earth renews itself. I recognize that even as the earth appeared barren in wintertime, new life was preparing to spring forth. I noticed this pattern in my life. I may be demonstrating visible growth in my life, or like the earth in winter, it may seem that my life is stagnant and barren. I remember that as the seasons of nature change, so do the seasons of my life. Even when it is not apparent to me, I know that divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. And from Mark 4:28, the earth produces of itself first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. Again, our word for today, June 14th, is divine order, and the affirmation: divine order is always unfolding in my life and in the world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Linda. All right, so today we're going to join together for our pre-meditation song. We have Spaces in Between Us.
If I could give one gift to you, as solid as the morning dew, a window pane the light shines through, the spaces in between us, a gift for you my heart would bring, the sweet release of everything, the breath I take before I sing, the spaces in between us, trusting in what might arise without a thought preceding. As simple as a baby's sighs, resting and receiving. It's not what keeps our souls apart, but what connects and dreams us. The vast potential of the heart, the spaces in between us. So I offer what my heart has found, the silent love that's all around, a symphony without a sound, the spaces in between us. If I could give you more than this, let it be forever's kiss, and mindful of my mindlessness, the spaces in between us. The spaces in between us.
So I invite you to breathe into this sacred space and to just take in a breath. and release. Allowing your head to drop into your heart, allowing your thoughts to just disperse. You center into that sacred, holy space of your heart, of your center, the center of your being, and the source of your love. Centering into this place of knowing and understanding and connection. You feel the love and you feel support, the guidance that comes from within, using your intuition, asking the questions that you may have on your heart, and allowing divine wisdom to lead your way to understanding. In this quiet place, we open our hearts, we open our minds, we listen, and we allow the source of our being to speak to us. We can hear what's being said. And so I invite us to just take some time in this quiet space to connect with our source and our creator, and to allow that infinite wisdom to flow into us as we are open and ready to receive. Divine love flows into every circumstance of our life. And we are wiser because we have taken time to rest in the silence and to attain that peace and that understanding of divine mind. We're grateful for this opportunity to connect with our source and our creator, to be reminded of our glory, and to be grateful and humble for all that we have. We are blessed, and so it is. Amen. And when you're ready, I invite you to come back to this time and this place, allowing yourselves to become more aware of the room around you, maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes, When you are ready, I invite you to just open your eyes, do a little stretch, and come back into your being. So today we are on our quest journey and we are talking about the I am. And recently I spoke about the power of thought and the power of the spoken word. And we receive age-old advice connecting the two in many ways all the time. For example, the little engine that could repeated to itself over and over. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Sometimes we do that as well. And the Buddha said it this way: all that is the result of what we have thought. And you can change your life because you can change the way you think. And Ernest Holmes said, in order to get the most out of life, we must learn to consciously change many of our habitual thoughts. And Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The Jafalas told us last week that our words move us into action. When we declare our thoughts, when we speak them, our bodies respond in kind. We gain energy with that. And the power of the human mind to create our reality is astounding. The question, of course, is, are we thinking thoughts in full awareness of their power, or are we unconsciously creating our world? That's a question to chew on for a bit, right? Are we thinking thoughts in full awareness of their power, or are we unconsciously creating our world? Jesus knew the power of the spoken word, and he spoke an I am statement and modeled for us how to do it. And so we're going to talk today about the I am and what that really means. I am is the name of God. It is also our name. And because we are made in the image and the likeness of God, every time we speak I am, these should be God qualities coming out of our mouth, right? So let's look to the Bible for a moment in Exodus chapter 3. Most of you are familiar with Exodus chapter 3. It is the story of Moses and the burning bush. So I'm going to share that. Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led his flock beyond the wilderness, and he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of a bush. And he looked, and the bush was blazing, yet it was not consumed by the blaze. Then Moses said, I must turn aside and look at this great sight and see why the bush is not burning up. When the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. Then he said, come no closer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place on which you stand is holy ground. He said further, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, and he was afraid to look at God. Here I am, Lord. But where? Do we recognize that we too are standing on holy ground? Are we using our I am to affirm our oneness with God, or to declare our state of being less than? Do you hear yourself ever saying, I can't because I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too thin, but who's ever been too thin? Or I'm too broke and I can't afford that. And here's the mantra of modern day America. It seems I'm too busy, I'm too tired. And what about other people? Do you have people in your life declaring for you what and who you are? As children, we may have had well-meaning relatives who were telling us that, oh, you're the pretty one, or the plain one, or the smart one, or the crafty, or the creative one. We may have had well-meaning people telling us that we were the athletic type or the jokester. And guess what? Often someone else's you, our became our I am. But it doesn't have to be. Has anybody ever told you who you were? When I thought about it, I was like, many times throughout my life, I have heard different stories. I have heard over and over again that I have a pretty face. And I would say, excuse me, a pretty face, meaning I will never be more than a pretty face, or I'm chunky and I'll never be pretty? Someone else's you, our does not need to be our I am. If this message could be heard by our preteens and teens, their confidence would soar. Someone else's you, our does not need to be our I am. That's powerful, isn't it? Jesus spoke in the affirmative. And there never was, not now, never will be any question of what Jesus was saying. When he said, I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the vine. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus knew the power that came from speaking the word and speaking it with meaning. He spoke his I am with force. He told us God and I are one, and in that oneness, Jesus spoke in affirmative terms and created miracles. And he said we could do the same. We got permission. So if we take a look at the 10 commandments under a metaphysical microscope, if we look at the third commandment, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. The interpretation is much more than don't swear. If God's name, as God told us in the Moses story, is I am, then this commandment is not about the indiscriminate use of cuss words. It's all about what we attach to our I am. From the quest this week, in its most pristine expression, the I am of us is godlike, eternal, pure, and unchanging. If we attach a human limitation to our I am, we limit its expression through us. It is no longer eternal, pure, and unchanging. It is, well, whatever we say it is. I am tired. God sees us as perfect. When we declare ourselves as less, we are really saying that our opinion of ourselves is more accurate, more true, and more real than God's opinion of us. The quest this week says, what you say after our I am is what you are linking to God's name. And God's name, I am, is not a static concept because God is always creating. It is God's nature to create. And since we are co-creators of our world with God, our use of I am is a dynamic shaper of our world. So we want to attach good things to our I am, powerful things. Our I am is an ongoing creative energy, always bringing into our world exactly what we ourselves identify with. It is by the use of our I am that we form and shape the circumstances and events of our lives. The key point here is God is always creating, and we are always co-creating with God. What we attach to our I am is directing the creative power of divine mind. That's what that's saying. And chances are pretty good that most of us use our I am to continually reaffirm our weaknesses, not our strengths. Right? We do that unconsciously. And wouldn't it be a happier world if we all got up every morning and sang a few verses of an affirmation? And declared to our divine creator, I am that I am. Use me for your glory, for the healing of humankind. Use me for my own growth. Use me as a source in this world. We are not separated from all that is divine. And Kathy Bolton shares this beautiful message in a song, and it's titled, I Am That I Am. And it fits perfectly with the lesson today, so I'm throwing in another song today. So here you go.
Sometimes it's easy to falter, having a judgment in mind, by seeing myself separated from all that is divine. But then I step back from the picture, observe the illusion through light. Remember, we're in this together. Every person and creature holds life. I am that I am. I am that I am. When I know the glory of all that I am, and I am. Of all that I am, and I am. I've seen myself watch my brother or sister stumble and fall while walking away without caring, leaving them there left to crawl. Now some might call this being selfish, but I'm not being selfish at all. For if I believe in our oneness, then I'm not caring for myself at all. I am that I am. I am that I am. When I know the glory of all
your I am is what you are. It is the wagon to which you hitch whatever you choose to carry throughout your life. You can hitch up to mediocrity or you can hitch up to greatness, whatever you attach to that I am. So I have a couple challenges this week if you would care to accept them. The first one is I invite you to write an affirmation for challenging areas of your life and use these affirmations all week. And remember how Jesus did it. Short, sweet, to the point, positive, and in the present tense. I'll say it again for those taking notes. Short, sweet, to the point, positive, and in present tense. And the second challenge I have this week is this. I invite you, whenever someone asks you this week how you are, I invite you to answer with, I am blessed. I am blessed. Imagine how the consciousness of the world will begin to shift if we all do this for 1 week. If the 40 or so of us in this very room are asked how we're doing this week, and we respond, say 10 times a day, I am blessed, over the course of a 7-day span, that means that by the time we gather here again next Sunday, we'll have collectively said quite a bit, I am blessed. Yep. And just like most of you, if you ask me how I'm doing, you're apt to get a full report, right? I bit into an Italian sausage and cracked my tooth top to bottom. I had a 2-hour dentist appointment to prep for a crown. I slammed my finger into a drawer, and it goes on and on. Those are the stories, but we can change those. Let's try it this week. No whining, no complaining, no stories, no saying I'm fine or I'm good or worse yet, I'm okay. Let's declare the truth for ourselves for 1 week. When anyone asks, let's affirm what is true. Let's say, I am blessed because indeed you are, and indeed I am. Next week is Father's Day, so we'll gather here online for our Father's Day service. I invite you all to join us and come together on Father's Day, and we'll see which room I end up in next week. This week we are at the youth education room. If you didn't hear that and you came in late, we have this beautiful room that was sponsored by AARV Foundation, and they have redone our youth ed room. We're waiting to do a big reveal, but you're just getting a sneak peek today. It's Pride Month and we have our colors in the background, and so just gathered here together with you. So let's prepare for our offertory, and we do have a way to donate in our chat box. We have a donate button in the email and the Zoom link, and on our website, unityofspringfieldil.org. And of course, you can always mail in a check. We receive those too, and we get all your notes, so thank you. And so as we prepare to do our offertory blessing, we have a beautiful picture of our sanctuary. That is from Salo Stanley, came in one day and took these photos. And so we're using that today. Isn't that nice to see our sanctuary? A little bit of home. So let's just take our gifts, our love offerings in our hands and prepare to bless them. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am blessed, and so it is. Amen. Special thanks this week to Shelley Kaufman for sparkling up our sacred space. We've been closed for a while, and we needed to do a little refreshing, so grateful that she came in and helped us refresh the space a little bit. And also Salo Stanley for the beautiful picture of our sanctuary. And special thanks to A. Harvey Foundation, too, for our beautiful remodel and renovation. So let's say together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to invite you all to unmute yourselves. The